Good evening, everyone. This is Lexicon coming at you with another budget deck EDH list. Um, the masses has spoken, so did a poll on Tumblr and Facebook to determine what commander you guys wanted me to do a deck tech on, and you guys chose this one. Excuse me, sorry. So we're gonna get into the deck tech. So we're playing, I believe this is Teamer. So red, blue, green. So our commander is pretty cool. It's a 3 mana commander that is an elemental. It has protection from white and black, and then whenever we cast a creature spell, we may put a 1/1 counter on it, and then creature spells cost one less to cast for each 1/1 counter on Animar. So this commander is kind of tricky to play because your opponents might be incented, might be how can I say this? They might want to kill this on sight as soon as it drops because it's just nutty. Because it's going to allow you to play all your big elemental spells for dirt cheap, especially if you have the mana dorks, and the mana rocks on the way to help you out. So let's get into the creature base. I'm just going to go over the big payoffs. So one of our big payoffs is Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. She is a 5 mana double green, where her power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, and then non-token creatures you control are forests in addition to their other types. So all of our creatures will pump this creature, including our lands, and she can be really big. She could probably be like a 10/10 or anywhere between that and like a 15/15, depending on how many creatures we have on board and how many lands we have as well. So another one of our big payoffs is this elemental called Avenger of Zendikar. It's a 7 mana double green. Whenever it ETBs, we create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land we control. And then when another land ETBs, we can put a counter on each plant. Then we are playing Liege of the Tangle. It's an 8 mana double green. It's an 8/8 with trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may choose any number of target lands you control and put an awakening counter on each of them. And then each of those lands are 8/8 green elemental creatures for as long as their awakening counter on them. They are still lands. So this pairs well with Ashaya because our non-token creatures are forest lands, so they count towards this as well. So all of our lands, if we can connect with this creature, all of our lands are going to be 8/8. And that is pretty nuts considering we have a card in the deck that says, it's right here, Thicket Crasher. Other elementals we control have trample. But and they're all elementals. All the lands that are turned into elementals by this will all get trample. So we could just plow through our opponent and attack with all these guys, and if they have no way to wipe the board or deal with it, they're pretty much in like deep water at that point, pretty much. So another big payoff is the Omnath, Locus of Mana. It's a 3 mana 1/1 that says you don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end, and then it gets 1/1 for each unspent green mana you have. We also play Omnath, Locus of the Royal. So when it ETBs, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals we control. And then whenever a land enters the battlefield, we put a 1/1 counter on target elemental, which we could choose our commander to make our spells cheaper. And then if we control 8 or more lands, we draw a card. Next, we have one of our big payoffs is Pilaf, World Sculptor. It's a 6 mana Gruul spell that when it ETBs, you make a 0/1 green plant token for each basic land you control. And then whenever another land enters the battlefield, you put 4 1/1 counters on a target plant. Another one of our big payoffs is Soul of the Harvest. So it's a 6 mana double green, 6/6 with trample. that whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Then we are also playing Thrake's the Sunstorm, so it's a 5 mana double blue with flash and flying, and then spells with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast, and it cannot be countered. And then finally, our last big payoff is Titan of Industry. So this is a 7 mana triple green, 7/7 with reach and trample, and then when it ETBs, we can choose up to 2. We can either destroy a target artifact or enchantment, force a player to gain 5 life, create a 4/4 green Rhino creature token, or put a shield counter on a creature you control. And despite all the other cards, there's just one more card I want to go over, and that's Risen Reef. So Risen Reef really is the engine of this deck, because whenever it or another elemental enters the battlefield, you look at the top card of our library. If it's a land card, we can put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, you put it into your hand. So basically, it's either getting you a land or drawing you a card every time an elemental ETBs, and that's good. As far as sorceries go, we have Cultivate to search our library up to 2 basic lands, reveal those cards, put one on the battlefield, put one of our hand. Distant Melody to draw cards for Elemental. Harmonize to draw cards. Kodama's Reach is Cultivate again, and then Rampant Growth is for a basic land for 2. We have Beast Within for removal, Counterspell counter, Gaia's Gift for protection, Growth Spiral to draw and ramp, Herald to ramp, Negate to counter a non-creature spell, Pongify for removal, Rapid Hybridization for removal, Reality Shift for removal, Slip Out the Back for protection, and Trap Essence to counter a target creature spell, and put 2/1 counters on up to one other target creature. And then for artifacts, we're just going to go over the Chromatic Lantern, which will fix our mana base, Icon of Ancestry to pump our elementals, and then look at the top 3 to reveal an elemental if we have one and put it into our hand. And then we have the Ozolith to be a hardened scale ability for us. And then we have, of course, Lightning Greaves and Swift Boots for protection. As far as enchantments, we play Druid class, just because whenever another land ETBs, we gain a life. If we can pump it to level 2, play additional land, and then the final one, when it becomes level 3, target land becomes a creature with haste, and its power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. Taban for draw, Garruk Uprising for draw, Hydra's Growth to double the counters on our commander, Kalini Heart Expedition for ramp, Rhythm Wild to give our elementals either haste or a token, a +1/+1 counter, Tribute of the Will Tree to either put counters or draw cards, and Wilderness Reclamation to untap all our lands at the beginning of the end step. I'm not even going to go over the lands in this deck tech. If you really want to see what they do, just click the Mox Fuel link and you'll see that. And that's it. So that's the deck in a nutshell. We curve out at 2 because we have 19 permanents with mana value 2 or less. And then we have 6 spells that are mana value 2. And then the rest of our spells seem to dissipate as the game goes on. So we're going to be generating value by having our mana dorks that tap for elementals. Animar is going to get bigger. And then when we get to these spells, they will literally be free to cast almost. And that's it. So this deck is going to run you about $235 to $240. It is on the more bit expensive side for decks that I normally build, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to cost you a lot of money to build this on Moto. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It will be uploaded to YouTube shortly with all my social media links, and I figure out a way to get all those links into one link so you don't have to see multiple links. So that is my Linktree account. So if you want to check out any of my social media channels, they will all be in that link. I hope you have a good night and take care.